Welcome back to the chase down. Thunder fall to the Nuggets 121-113 after going into overtime in Orlando. The Thunder were without Dennis Schroeder and without Terrence Ferguson, but the Nuggets, they were without Gary Harris, Will Barton, and Jamal Murray. So a few key pieces out in this game for both teams. Thunder looked a step slow in this one. Defense not anywhere as close to as good as it was in the first game against the Jazz, where their defense was pretty amazing. They did have some good individual efforts by Luguentz Dort and Nerlens Noel. Both of those guys played good defense. But the team defense and those rotations that they had in that first game just weren't quite there like they had in that first game, where everybody was just flying around, staying on the ball. Help defense was great. Pick and roll defense was great. Denver doesn't really run as much pick and roll as some other teams, but they do a couple times, and then because they run their offense kind of through Jokic, and if Jokic isn't out there, sometimes they go through Plumlee, and so they use their bigs to run their offense a lot, so not as much pick and roll, and just a different offense, just a different look than what they get from some of the other teams in the NBA. So you got to change up the game plan a little bit, and defense just wasn't quite there. Big thing was the defense gave up a lot of easy baskets. They gave up 50 points in the paint, allowed 9 offensive rebounds. The Nuggets had 15 fast break points off of 15 turnovers by the Thunder. Nuggets had 10 steals. Thunder only had 4. Thunder also, they only had 9 fast break points, and fast break points is just an area where the Thunder haven't been great. All year they've been dead last in fast break points per game. Just a total switch up from the teams of Thunder past. They did have 13 fast break points against Utah, but just wasn't here this game. Neither team really got much help from the refs. They combined to shoot 70 free throws this game. I guess you could say they got a little too much help, and that ultimately controlled the pace of the game, especially at the end in the fourth quarter and overtime. Thunder were 24 for 31 from the line, and the Nuggets were 30 for 39. Well, the Thunder did shoot well from 3. They were 15 for 36, so about 41%. They only had 28 points in the paint, and they missed a whole lot of layups, especially in that first half. Hami missed a couple layups. Dre missed a couple layups. I think Shea missed one, but Shea drew some fouls. Thunder just had an ugly first half, but they ended up with the lead at halftime, 51-50. Because they went on an 11-4 run at the end of that half with a little help from Abdel Nader. And so, they got that half with the lead. And then they looked a little bit better in the second half, made some more layups, knocking down their open threes. Kind of felt like Gallo was the only one knocking down open threes in that first half. Game was pretty even the whole way. Both teams just trading quarters. Nuggets won the first quarter, then Thunder won second quarter. Then Nuggets won third quarter, and Thunder won that fourth quarter, and then Nuggets destroyed in overtime. In overtime, really, and even a little bit at the end of that fourth, especially with those free throws, looked like the Thunder was kind of gassed. Didn't have their legs under them as much, without Dennis out there. And then they lost Muscala in the middle of the game. Just felt like they were tired at the end there, and they got outscored 12-4 in overtime. And they just couldn't slow down Jokic, who ended up having 8 of the Nuggets' 12 points, and like I said, gave up some easy baskets even in overtime. Got some tip-ins. So the Thunder held on a little bit without Dennis Schroeder, but you could really tell that they missed him in that overtime, especially when the offense was basically dead. And it's hard to make up 19 points of potential 6th Man of the Year award winner, and he just brings a lot of energy off that bench, and it's hard to replace. And then, not having Schroeder out there also affects not being able to have Shea and CP out there on the court together as much, because you kind of have to stagger them so one guy can run the point. They were out there together sometimes, and then they were even off the court a little bit and let Dort run the point for a couple minutes. Would like to see Bazley have the ball a little more while Shea and CP weren't out there together, because when we saw that in the scrimmages, even though they were scrimmages, when Bazley was a ball handler, he did pretty good, and we got to see what Bazley could do. And then, like I said, Thunder lost Muscala during this game. He went into concussion protocol. He kind of, he's playing some defense. I think it was PJ Dozier went up for a layup, and then, Muscala got hit up top. So when he came down, his head just kind of whiplashed, hit off the floor. So he's in concussion protocol, last we've heard of. And he really could have helped this offense. The offense wasn't going very good, and ever since we got into Orlando, we seen Muscala's shot falling pretty good. He even made a corner three before he got out there. So, having Muscala would have been nice out there, especially when Nerlens Noel got in foul trouble, and we wanted to rest Adams for that end of the game, because, when Adams doesn't have to play a ton of minutes, that's usually when he plays really good. So Nikola Jokic ended up having 30 points, 10 assists, and 12 rebounds. And then Michael Porter Jr. went off. He got some easy baskets there in the first half. And he made a couple contested ones too. He ended up with 37 points, 12 rebounds. He was 4 for 6 from 3 and 9 for 9 from the free throw line. Monte Morris, 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists, and he was plus 28 for the Nuggets. And then Paul Millsap he had 17 points and 6 rebounds. So the starters out there for the Nuggets, even though they were down 3 starters, these guys that filled in for them did a pretty good job. SGA didn't have a great first half, only had 8 points and wasn't shooting very well. He came out in that second half, and I wish they would have went to him a little bit more in overtime and then at the end of the fourth there. Because he ended up with 24 points, 2 assists, 5 rebounds. And then Gallo ended with 20 points. He was 4 for 9 from 3. CP, 23 points, 8 assists. And Abdel Nader, 13 points, and he was 3 for 4 from 3. And then you had Nerlens Noel, who had a pretty good game on the defensive end. He had 4 points, 2 assists, 7 rebounds, and he ended up having 3 blocks. And then surprisingly, Hamidou Diallo only had 2 points, but he had 4 assists, 7 rebounds, and a steal, and he was plus 19 there in the box score for the Thunder. So right now, the Thunder are sitting at the 6th seed. Next game is against the Los Angeles Lakers, who have locked in that 1st seed. Thunder are 41 and 25, but it's not really so much how many games we've won. We're looking for win percentage in this one, because we won't end up playing as many games. I think Utah and one other team, they play more games than us. So we're really looking at win percentage. Utah's sitting at 5th. They're .627. Thunder are .621. And then the Houston Rockets are .636. And then Dallas Mavericks are behind us. They're .58. So, a little bit of leeway from the Mavericks. But, got to keep winning games. Got to come out and play against it's not a great matchup for us in the Los Angeles Lakers. So anyway, guys, let me know what you think. Comment down below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.